We're ranking the commanders from Warhammer 40K from worst to best.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We got new videos every single day, and you can support us on Patreon.com if you're liking what you see. There's a bunch of names on screen.
Yeah, and if you want to buy the best sleeves in the multiverse,
good sleeves,
you can use our affiliate link in the description, and not only would you be getting those sleeves, you'd be supporting this channel.
Which is sponsored by Maraschiello. There's an ad somewhere in this video. You can predict where it is right now, but you will be wrong.
You will be incorrect. And happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today. Today is ranking every commander. We have already ranked every single commander that's come out up to this point ever, excluding the 40K, but they're technically not out, so we haven't done anything wrong yet. We haven't missed anything. We're putting them into a master list. They're ranked based on 5 things. BZ, run it down, because each thing worth 10 points each for a total of 50. Now run it down.
Power, fun, artwork, coolness, and uniqueness. Everything's going to come in to play for what makes a cool, awesome, best commander. It's not just about power. You can take the first number if you want a power ranking for this, but that's not what this list is. And you can check out every commander. Where's your favorite commander on this list of all commanders ranked? There's a description link. Go to the sheet. We're going to start with the very worst and go to the very best. The worst commander from Warhammer is the Red Terror, coming in overall at rank 1227, above Mila/Luca and below Infernal Kieran. 3 in a red for a 4/3 Tyrannid. Whenever a red source you control deals damage to one or more permanents and or players, put a +1/+1 counter on the Red Terror. Now, we don't almost ever do this for modern designed commanders, but this card has a 0 for power.
It is a 4/3 for 4 mana. That is not good. Those are not good stats. It has no evasion, no menace, no haste, no trample, no flying, no ways to get this thing through. So what is it going to do? We're going to put all these bad spells to deal damage to get 1 counter per spell that we cast, because it can't get more, because it
says 1 or more.
Oh, what is this card? Everything about it is terrible, and it just has nothing going on. So how much fun can you have with this card?
Yeah, quite often when a card doesn't let you really do anything, the fun is very limited. So this one only has a 2. I think the art, pretty great. That's like the main thing this has going for it. Overall, the art is generally great in the set. We're not going to touch on all of them. Just know that it's all pretty good. We'll talk about outliers.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say about the flavor of this card is that it's supposed to be fast and it doesn't have haste.
Yeah, it's like a first in the line of experiments to create this fast-moving killing machine that could appear without warning and eat prey whole, and I don't see any of that here.
It's not fast. Fast would insinuate haste. We don't have haste on this card.
Or like an ETB trigger. Or something.
No. How about an ability?
Flash. I don't know.
Whenever a creature. How about some spell slinging ability that wants you to play Lightning Bolt?
Ooh.
Does that sound like the Red Terror?
That sounds like the Red Terror to me. Yeah, this card is kind of just uninteresting.
Yeah, completely. So let's move on to the next one. It is Old One Eye, ranking at 1086. A huge jump considering. Above Zozu the Punisher and below Ramirez DiPietro. 5 and a green for a 6/6. It has trample, and other creatures you control have trample. When it enters the battlefield, create a 5/5 green Tyrannid creature token. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you may discard 2 cards. If you do, return Old One Eye from your graveyard to your hand. This is 11 power for 6 mana. That's not horrible rate-wise, but that's all it is. It's just power and toughness and nothing else. And when we're looking at commanders, specifically something that's going to be in your command zone, we want something to build around, to work with. Sure, you can kind of flicker this, but we're a mono green deck. I really don't know what you're supposed to do with this. Keeps the fun really low for me.
Yeah, and we're only evaluating these legendary creatures as a commander, so the discard 2 cards, get it back clause is like so much less relevant than it would be. Most of the time, I'm just going to pay 2 more mana for this, and then, maybe once it costs 10, I'll start discarding 2, but that's still a pretty steep cost. And I wish it was like 11 power for 6 mana sounds good, but it's not commander power. It's only 6 commander power.
Yeah, maybe 11/11 will make it a little bit better.
Well, that's 2-hit kill. I mean, you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's a lot more scary. It's just not very powerful. This is only power toughness. That is weak. This isn't thing. It cannot be killed. It regenerates its body. It's like covered in scars.
It's just like a lump of gross scars from healing.
But the reason it only has 1 eye is it got shot in the eye, and then the shot went through its brain afterward.
Killed it,
and then it regenerated its brain, but it didn't regenerate its eye,
which is only got 1 eye.
Which is kind of cool because it just regenerates.
Let's keep going on to Inquisitor Eisenhorn, ranking in at 997 overall, above Kagha and below the Raven Man. 2 black-blue for a 2/3 human Inquisitor. You may reveal the first card you draw each turn as you draw it. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, you get a 4/4 legendary black demon creature with flying. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you investigate that many times.
Now, because that sounded a little confusing, I do want to say it's when This thing deals combat damage, not the demon it makes. This thing has no evasion. It is a 2/3 on the ground. It's never dealing combat damage. What does this deck want you to do? It wants you to play a ton of instant sorceries so you're constantly getting that 4/4, which you can only have one of. So I want you to go around the legend rule and get more of them that way. This is a weird card. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it.
Yeah, not much to do. Not a ton of fun to be had. The clue part is cool. Making them unblockable, pumping them up, making like 7 clues. It's nothing we haven't seen before, so the uniqueness isn't very high. I will say he's like an Inquisitor, which is apparently some kind of secret cop. You know, I'm delving into the Warhammer lore for this, but I'm not reading the extensive millions and millions of pages that exists. So you're going to get the abridged version as far as we can tell. Was considered a traitor by the Inquisition at least twice, but was proven both times actually to be a righteous servant of the Emperor of Mankind, which is basically God.
I have heard one thing about the Warhammer groups. All of them are the bad guy.
Yeah, nobody's good. Everybody has lived millions and millions. Nobody dies in this universe. You're all 10,000 years old. You're all the biggest, baddest person ever, and you're all bad.
They're all just different forms of fascist.
Yeah, apparently.
Like some of them are zombie fascists. Some of them are human fascists, but they're all fascists. They're all awful. Up next, we have Lucius the Eternal, above the Council of the Four, and below a Tog at 900. 3 black-red for a 5/3 with haste. When he dies, exile it and choose target creature an opponent controls. When that creature leaves the battlefield, return him to the battlefield under its owner's control. I like the idea here. I like the idea of, like, whenever my commander dies, I exile or something, then I can use some spot removal or wipe the board to get it back. But there's only one issue here. This is a 5/3. What does this card do whatsoever? And the answer is nothing. This just doesn't do anything. I love all the text in this card is perfect. The haste, the fact that, you know, you can get it back. And then for some reason, it's just a 5/3.
What's my incentive to get this back?
Like, give me an ETB. Give me, even if it's a bad ETB, give me some little ETB. ETB deal, like, 2 damage to target creatures. Like, I'll take it.
Or like
that's
2
something.
damage to each opponent. Like, I just want some incentive to get him back, and that's really going to hurt him for fun, and it's really going to hurt him for power. We know the art is pretty good on all these, and I just feel like everybody in Warhammer is Eternal. This might as well just be Lucius. I'm just going to call him Lucius from now on.
Yeah, normal Lucius.
Yeah, he bore scars with pride, but he began to equate pain and success, so he, like, cut deep lines all across his body, connecting all his scars, which is, like, disgusting. Then he descended into madness, go figure, and then he started committing more and more extreme acts, which I can only imagine is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is horrible in the Warhammer universe. We know this.
Especially Lucius. Let's go to Nayam Shai Murad. She's above Michonne and below Siona at 851. 2 white-black for a 3/3. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, you may have that player return target permanent card from their graveyard to their hand. If you do, that player chooses a permanent card in your graveyard, then you put it onto the battlefield under your control. Now, this card looks like a lot of fun, which is also why it looks not very strong. The key to this is someone has to basically just agree to let you hit them with this, because it's very blockable. It's just a 4-mana 3/3. It's a hill giant.
Yeah, exactly. 4-mana 3/3 is not something that's going to sneak through. We have to jump through a ton of hoops just to get it through, to get a trigger. And if people aren't playing nice with us, this isn't going to be that good of a trigger.
Yeah, and then it's like, you're still giving them something. And depending on how bad the thing you give them is, they could just give you something bad. You know, like, I don't want to play fetch lands in this deck.
Like I said, you got to wheel, you got to deal. Otherwise, this card does nothing. It's very bad. Art, excellent. It's a lot of the Warhammer art is very, very good. We're not talking about it too much, but this is the first one that's like, that's a good art.
Yeah, I wasn't really too sure about this lore. She's like a traitor, like a rogue traitor, but also she's like conquered dozens of worlds. I don't know what's going. Maybe that's like the bare minimum. Everybody in Warhammer's conquered dozens of worlds.
Oh, don't worry. There's another one who's all about being a traitor coming up. Like,
oh boy,
that's the whole card. Actually.
No. She's not a traitor. She's a trader.
Oh, a trader. I thought she was. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. This one's a trader.
I don't know how you trade and also conquer planets.
Very carefully.
Is she trading planets?
Spices. Always spices.
Spices.
No matter what universe we're in, spices are worth a ton. And sometimes spices don't mean anything. Sometimes they're drugs.
Cherries, show me the Greyfax.
Well, we have Inquisitor Greyfax above Arkham Daxam, below Adeline at 761. 1 blue, white, black for a 3/3 with Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 and have Vigilance. Pay 1 and tap it to tap target creature an opponent controls and investigate. This is just a card I don't very much understand. It's only pumping power. It's giving your creatures Vigilance. There's a little bit here. It's not a terrible card. I don't know where you want to go with it. Maybe you want to go wide with your tokens. Maybe someone else has a better idea, because I don't get this card.
Based on some of the upgrades we did to the pre-con, it looks like there's some stuff you can do. You could build like this deck where every creature has tap abilities. You play opposition and stuff, and like get some stuff done. Maybe you go wide because it does just buff your team. It's cool. I just don't think there's a lot here. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, agreed completely. It is good art. These this Inquisitor at the the Dutch angle, right?
Yeah, they all got the hats too.
They all have the hats.
I know they got the hats.
That is really, really important here. If you don't know about the hats, get a hat.
Yeah, she has the telepathic ability to detect any lie, and she played a crucial role. Warhammer fans, let's stay tuned, because she played a crucial role in the last day of the 13th Black Crusade, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Okay. Is that is it?
They know what it means.
Do they? Do I?
No.
Okay.
Let's go to Zarek, the Silent King, at 750 above Nimrus and below Rocco. 1, black for a 3/4 flyer. Whenever he attacks, you mill 3 cards, then you can put an artifact creature card or a vehicle card from among the cards milled this way into your hand. Flying definitely saves this card, because now he's got evasion. You can guarantee a couple attacks, and it basically draws you a card as long as your deck has a ton of artifact creatures and vehicles.
Yeah, you're going to fill your deck to the brim. I mean, the deck that he comes in, that he's already leading, is built to do this. It comes with lots of cards to fill out that mono black list. Like, if this came out without a deck, this card would be pretty bad, because you'd be lacking a lot. But we got a lot of cards to actually fill in those slots with this deck.
Yeah, like if there was no 40K precons and this was like a set booster card, people would just be like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, this is not a real card. This is not something I want to do. It seems pretty fun. Like you said, flying saves it for fun, for power, because if this was a 3/4 on the ground, it would just get eaten up really quickly. Flying, it's super easy to keep that going.
Yeah, he was reigning when the Necrontyr, which is their race, underwent the biotransference, which is a card, into soulless Necrons, which is what they are now. He ordered all Necron dynasties to hibernate for 60 million years, which is apparently just like 2 weeks in a Warhammer universe, because they're just throwing around millions of years. And as penance, he exiled himself.
So if they've come back, it's been 6 million years?
60 million?
It's been
6 million, please, no.
It's been 60 million
Apparently
years?
it's been 60 million years. He's not the one who did the biotransference. That guy's later in this list.
No.
He was the ruler when that guy did that, and he was like, everybody, let's do this.
Okay, fair enough.
Now they got no souls.
This is one of the better arts, too. Very good.
Next is one of Joe's favorites. It's Commissar Severino Rain. She's at 737 overall, above Ave and below Squee, Dubious Monarch. 1 black for a 2/2 human soldier. Whenever she attacks, each opponent loses X life, where X is a number of other attacking creatures. And you can pay 2 mana and sack another creature to gain 2 life and draw a card. Now we're starting to get up there in power. This is like level, middle of the road, average power level. She's going to be able to gain you some life, and if opponents let her attack, they can just take like 8 each or something.
Yeah, I think this is something worth making unblockable, because you get an actual good reward. You get to send your whole team in, and we mentioned this before, Reconnaissance. This deck loves Reconnaissance. Get in with everything, get your big trigger, and then remove everything from combat to protect them. This card drains for a lot really quickly. It cannot be left on the battlefield. And I love that when you send in the attacks, if you can't protect your creatures in another way, sack them off. Turn them into card draw now. This is a strong magic card.
Yeah, I think the second ability is worse than the first one. It's pretty below rate for what I want to be doing to sacrifice creatures, but I'm glad it's there. This card looks pretty fun. This looks like an annoying, powerful commander deck.
Yeah, it seems, I like this card a lot. It's pretty strong. The art is whatever. I'm not super interested in it. It's also
very questionable.
It's also questionable, and we're not a huge fan of it, but that's, regardless, neither here nor there. That's because, like I said, everybody in the lore is a fascist.
Apparently. Let's see, she protects a region of space from the forces of chaos. Chaos is like capital C. It's like a evil god thing. She was, quote-unquote, forced to execute a beloved captain because he refused a direct order. No one is good in this entire universe.
No.
Oh, you just obeyed a direct order. Man, everybody likes you. Gotta kill you anyway. Sorry.
I have to follow my order to kill you.
Them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks.
Or there'll be an infinite chain of people dying to refusing orders.
No, I won't kill him. No, I won't kill her.
I won't kill her.
I won't kill him.
I'd never kill him.
I would never kill her.
Let's move on.
Until one person eventually does it, and then it's like
dominoes.
It's like a giant. Well, they give him a big sword, so they go. It's just like head off.
That's official. Check the wiki. That's in there.
That's in there. It is. Yeah. The more people that refuse orders before you, the bigger the sword you get.
Next up is Mortarion, Daemon Primarch. He's at 696, not too far away from Severina, above Kaima and below Silas Wren. 5 and a black for a 5/6 flyer. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay X. If you do, create X 2/2 black Astartes warrior creature tokens with menace. X can't be greater than the amount of life you lost this turn. So once per turn, you get to charge all your remaining mana, or whatever you feel like, into just making 2/2 menace tokens, as long as you paid life, which isn't that hard to do.
Yeah, interesting. This card is weird, because other than things like Necropotence, you have to pay a lot of life. Maybe Necropotence, and I think of the Surveil guy.
God. What is it? Doom Whisper?
Doom Whisper. I think of those cards, which will let you pay life for free, but then you have to put all of your mana into getting 2/2s. This card is okay. It's not bad. but you have to put all your mana into just making a board state every turn, and you have to have tons of cards that are making you lose more than just a little life.
And this thing's already kind of expensive. 6 mana, at least he's like a 5/6 flyer. He's kind of chunky. There's some stuff you can do with this. It's not nothing.
It seems fun. I like the idea of just painting yourself down and then making the army. That's going to be really fun to do. Just not very strong. I love the unique feel that each of these arts have because Warhammer is a totally different style from Magic. Like, Magic the Gathering cards don't look usually like this, so we get a different feel on the cards.
Half these people just have guns.
Yeah. They
with triggers and that shoot bullets.
Yeah, and lasers. Lots of lasers.
Magical lasers that aren't in any way harmful. This is one of 20 original Primarchs created by the Emperor of Mankind, which again, I'm just assuming is God. Turned to service of Chaos, who I was assuming is like the devil, during the Horus Heresy, which I read was a giant civil war. But we're just going to hop, skip, and jump over to Magus Lucia Kane above Namata and below Grenzo. Havoc Razor at 689. 1 green, blue, red for a 1/1 at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and she taps for Wing Ding Wing Ding. When you next cast a spell with X in its mana cost or activate an ability with X in its activation cost, copy it. Not really sure what that counter ability is doing. It's basically just there to synergize with Tyranids and be random, but this is a 4-mana 1/1. If you untap with it or give it haste, they're in for some trouble.
I also want to put the counter on her right away because I don't want it to be a 1/1. 1/1s are so vulnerable. Like,
dies to end the festivities.
It dies to everything. This card is pretty weak overall until you get it going. Like, because you have to play it. It doesn't have haste. You want to give it haste. It's slow.
Kind of pricey.
But once you get going, I love that you can just keep tapping it. And
like, on the tap it, untap it, tap it, untap it. Then the next spell you cast is like copied like 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. This does a lot once it gets going. I just think the fact that it is a 4-mana 1/1 is its main weakness. You're gonna have to like hope to untap with this a lot of times because you can't always guarantee you're going to have haste. 10 for fun. I think it's gonna be the X spell decks. I think all those are just super fun, unique, and just they're good, fun decks.
It's gonna be a groan test when somebody puts like Freed from the Real on this, where it's just like, all right, I'll turn all my blue mana into double X, double colorless on X, and it's copied that many times. Like, okay, you're just dead.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of it's gonna be huge. It's gonna make so much mana. As long as you don't need a blue mana, you're going mana positive every single time on it because you'll just take the colorless.
Yeah, and I couldn't find any lore for this. I looked pretty hard. I don't know if this is a new character or if she doesn't exist, but I couldn't find anything. So if you find something, link it to me, and I'm sure she'll get a 2 or a 3.
She has a cool collar.
She got a cool collar. That's the one.
That's it. That's all she's got.
Death Leaper Terror Weapon is next. He's at 678 above Grothama and below King Narfi. 2 red-green for a 3/3 flash haste. Creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn have double strike. It can hit somebody out of nowhere for like a decent amount of damage. I really wish it had flying or something because it hits for 6 right away.
This is like a weird... It wants you to be haste tribal without saying it wants you to be haste tribal because it wants all your creatures to come down and attack right away. Or a flash so they can block, but of course you want to be dealing damage with this. This is a strange card. If it just gave your creatures double strike, it'd be a lot more powerful. I don't even know that'd be broken.
Yeah.
But it'd be a lot better. Instead, it's just kind of meh as can be. It's going to be fun to try and give your stuff haste and really beat in quick.
It's good with dragons. It's going to be good with dragons and like Fires of Yavimaya and all that stuff. You could definitely get some people. This though... This had my favorite lore of like all these cards. Even though this art is very medium and the card is very medium, it was created as the ultimate assassin to kill this Cardinal Salem guy and like end the war in the Tyranids' favor. But it never killed him. It just psychologically tortured him and got really close to him every night and just murdered everybody around him so that he could think that he was going to die at any second to this thing. And his insanity like poisoned the morale of the whole army, and it just led to an easy swarm victory, or as the website called it, a butchering.
Jeez.
It's like, oh my God.
Jeez.
Just kill the guy.
No, he doesn't want to.
It was so much more savage than
the
that.
Death Leaper Terror is just a big jerk.
Yeah, that's real savage. Super cool.
Up next, we have Bellacor Call above Narfi and below Genie Faye at 676. 2 white-blue for a 2/4. Tap it and tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Create a 2/2 warrior creature token with vigilance. Its second ability is tap it and tap X untapped creatures you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. The first thing that comes to my mind for this is if you're tapping this and 2 artifact creatures, it just goes infinite with Intruder Alarm. That's the first thing, because if they're artifact creatures, they'll be untapping with, when you make a 2/2, go infinite very, very easily that way and draw.
We broke Intruder Alarm.
We finally did it. We finally broke Intruder Alarm. It was
20 years.
It was fair before. Now it's broken.
Yeah, now it's broken. This is like totally right up there with like Glacian and all those cards. Like it taps to draw some cards. It's all right.
Yeah, it's totally reasonable. It's going to be a fun deck. You're going to want to play artifacts. You're going to want to play artifact creatures, but you're also going to want to play like a high concentration of just artifacts in your deck so you can draw them when you make these tokens. It's weird. It seems like it wants you to be tokens and artifacts and go wide, but also it wants you to play a bunch of non-creature artifacts. It's a weird deck.
It's a cool card. I don't need all these cards to be good. They don't have to be 5s or 7s on the power level. 3's fine. 3's totally fair with me. It's just going to be a nice, neat little deck. As for lore, he's a 10,000-year-old, which is like, yawn, standard years old, Archmagus Dominus, has many appendages ending in weapons.
Oh, dang.
Don't they all?
I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, if my arm got chopped off, I'd kind of want to be replaced with a weapon. Be nice.
Moving on up, we got Karn, the Betrayer, at 652 above Errant and below Gretchen. 3 red for a 5/1 that attacks or blocks each combat if able. Whenever you lose control of him, draw 2 cards. If damage will be dealt to him, prevent that damage, and an opponent of your choice gains control of it. So he can never die to combat, draws you some cards when you lose him, but then I don't know how I'm supposed to get him back.
What a weird card. It's so strange. I think it's an easy 1 for power where it's doing almost nothing. We can't guarantee it's coming back to us unless we make a deal with somebody to like keep trading it back.
That's where the fun comes in.
But that's where the fun comes in. This is a cool political card. I also, the card I really like in this deck is Homeward Path, so you can bring it back.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll give it away, draw 2 cards, take it back, they get 2 cards, but now you get to give it away again.
It basically just becomes Humble Defector.
It just becomes a little Humble Defector that you just keep giving back and forth. It's a really strange card. This card is definitely unique. 9 for uniqueness. It's literally like there's just nothing like this card. Like
not with the cards tacked on.
Especially when this takes damage, give it away. Like
it can't take damage, really.
Yeah, it can't. It prevents. It literally turns taking damage into giving it to an opponent. How funny is this card with Pyrohemia? Oh. Super funny. But it can never die essentially.
So Pyrohemia is stuck in play.
Pyrohemia is just going to be stuck in play, and you can just pay 1. Ping it. Whoever has it gets 2 cards and gives it away. And then you can just keep doing it. Give it to me. You're going to give it to me? Come on, give it to me.
It's so weird.
It is such a weird little interaction that this card has.
Yeah, Karn, I think this is the person known for being a traitor. He is supernaturally protected by his murderous deity. And get this, he's at least 10,000 years old.
Wait, he's some kind of eternal?
Apparently.
Wow, who would have thought? In
Warhammer? No way.
There's just not many of those.
Let's keep cruising. We got Garrison Starred, Kellermorph at 631 above Ayara and below Teriel. 1 blue-red for a 3/2 with Ward 2, and whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, this guy deals 2 more to that permanent or player. He's got 1 arm that deals the 1 damage, and then he's got the 2 other little baby arms that deal the other 2 damage.
Okay, so this card is kind of cool. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it does turn all of your End the Festivities type cards into Anger of the Gods type effects, which is not terrible.
I have been memeing that, because whenever we play games, I always talk about how Shrivel would be good. So I'm trying out End the Festivities in a few commander decks just for 50% meme and 50%. I wonder if this is actually good. That's why I keep mentioning it.
Every version of this deck is going to play actually End the Festivities.
Yes, actually is going to play that. It looks like a really fun deck. I got no complaints.
Yeah, you're going to be playing a lot of things that deal exactly 1 damage. You're probably going to put Gut Shot in this deck. Like that's how weird this deck is.
I think one of the problems with this deck though is why the power takes a giant hit is you are playing very bad cards.
And you're playing very bad cards, and then you just these cards don't draw cards. You're going to run out of cards so quickly. When you use your Gut Shot, cool, you got a lot of value out of a Gut Shot. But what actually happened was your card's gone.
Yeah, your card is gone.
You don't just draw. You don't like if this guy had some sort of card draw, maybe some way to get back cards. But the problem is all your bad cards are just they're going to be decent removal, and then you'll be out of cards really quick.
Right. So his name is Garrison Starn, and I believe he is like the Kellermorph. Kellermorph is like this revolutionary folk hero. People are basically willingly poison themselves to bring him bullets, which is so metal.
That is pretty metal. What do you want to do? I want to bring bullets to this guy.
I want to manufacture bullets and poison myself and die.
So I can so the Kellermorph.
They would die. They just die. And
they die. Don't even live.
No. Lethally poison themselves, and they know they're going to die the whole way through.
No, that's so sad.
So sad.
So sad.
And they were probably 10,000 years old too, so it's a long life coming to an end.
I mean, yeah, everybody who's important in the lore has lived to 10,000 years.
Absolutely. Let's go to Celestine, the Living Saint. She's coming in at 616 overall above Oswald and below Pia and Kieran. This is a 5-mana 3/4 flyer with lifelink, and at your end step, you get to bring back a creature with mana cost X or less to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So she's always going to gain you 3 when she smacks somebody.
Yeah, this card gets you a ton of value. It just brings cards directly back to the battlefield. and it has a direction it wants the deck to go. That's life gain. Life gain decks tend to be a ton of fun, and there's lots of small creatures you want to reanimate. So even just gaining the 3 life, like you said, there's all the Soul Wardens and all of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of good life gain stuff going on in just Mono White alone. So this deck can just be powerful, and she is a value engine within herself.
The ability costs no mana, so it's basically like an ETB. You get the first one right away. You just gain 4 life on your turn for whatever reason, however you want to do it. Play her. Now you just get a creature back. You don't have to do anything.
If you have a Soul Warden in your graveyard and Soul Warden on the battlefield, which is a plausible thing, you play this, you gain 1 life, then you bring back your other Soul Warden.
Awesome. You gain a life.
Totally reasonable thing just to happen in this deck.
Yeah, this card seems sweet.
It seems like a really fun one. The art is whatever. This is, I don't understand. There's not angels. Like, there's not an angel type, but these are they're humans with wings.
Right.
That look exactly like angels. And if we were going to define them, if a human saw them, we'd call it an angel. But it's like an Astari's warrior.
Yeah, and she's a mysterious warrior who appears in times of great need with incredible psychic power. Sounds like an angel.
There's a lot of psychic powers.
It's a given.
I mean, I want the other power. I want to be able to tell when someone's lying. That's a sweet power.
Yeah, I want the Inquisitor Greyfax.
Yeah.
Because if somebody, let's say, they list their car for like $3,000, but it's been in like 3 accidents, she knows.
Yeah, but you have to say, show me the Greyfax.
Right, and then she comes out and is like, that's not the deal.
She's a little puppet. Think anyone gets any of that?
I hope so.
All right, BZ, who's the next commander?
Well, it's ranked number 1 in our hearts. It's Moxfield.com. It's a deck building website. You can build commander decks or really decks for any format on there. But once you start doing it, you're going to realize this is the easiest thing I've ever done. My decks are 10 times better because I have so much more information.
Yes, and there are lots of ways to sort your decks. But one of my favorite is sort by price, especially when you're working on those budget lists. You only got $50 to spend, but you're over by $2. Really simple. Hit sort by price. Boom! You can see that $2 card that you can get out of the deck just to get it nice and even.
And if you're actually worried about prices, you can update your whole entire deck at once to the cheapest possible version of every card in there. It takes like 2 clicks, and it saves you dozens of minutes of work.
It's so nice. I use that all the time just to be like, okay, I want the cheapest versions. I know that it says this is worth $1,200. What's it really worth? $600. Okay, because I don't have the foil Jewel Lotus in here anymore.
More realistically, it's probably like, oh, this is $250? No, that's the stupid new set. It's actually 14 cents.
Well, dang, that's really realistic.
Yeah. Next, Agric the Traveler, ranked 609 above Nihilor, below Feldon. 4 to black for a 4/4. Whenever he attacks, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand or graveyard by paying life equal to its mana value rather than paying its mana cost. Not very chunky, not likely to get a ton of attacks out of this, but you're going to get one and you get to cast something for free, basically. Just pay some life. You know, this works well with like Darksteel Forge, where it's like, surprise, he's indestructible, now he can't die.
Why does this set love sending in not good attackers to get not great bonuses?
It's because nobody can die in this universe. They don't care.
This bonus is okay. Like, this is decent and getting 1 card back, but it's like, if it's just going to die right away, what the heck? I have to jump through all these hoops to make this thing unblockable to get 1 thing back, to pay like 6 life to get 1 card, and then it's dead. And then it just dies all the time. Like, why are so many cards designed like this in this set?
I'm really not sure, but I know that he did rise from the Great Sleep with his mind intact, which may or may not be remarkable, I don't know, and led an undead army into the stars to rebuild a united Necron realm.
That sounds like a 5 for coolness.
It does sound exactly like Dead Middle.
At least most of the Necrons look cool. Necrons have a very cool, distinct look, like skeleton metal.
Yeah, they have no souls.
And they have no souls, but
they used to.
He does have his mind. That's something, right? Great art. Great art. Up next, we have Traynor the Infinite above Lovisa and below Wasatora at 579. 4 black for a 4/6. It's got that touch, and as long as it's on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. Now, most of this power comes from the ability to infinite combo, but one of the big issues here is you're going to be in a mono black deck, and it's hard to give this thing haste, meaning you'll have to play it out. People are knowing that this is a combo machine.
It's 6 mana.
6 mana, and it has to live until your next turn. That's going to be very hard, but it definitely does have combos and can definitely pop off.
Which is why it's not going to be that much fun to play against. You're going to have to kill this thing all the time, no matter what. You know, Pilipala and Gilded Lotus. Oops, it's infinite. Like, it's very easy to do. Same with, like, it's basically just another Necrotic Ooze.
Yeah, I will say one thing. Though I like the Necron look in the art, all of them look kind of
The same.
Samey. Like skeleton,
Any one of them is
robot
cool.
thingy. Yeah, any single one is cool.
But if you've seen one Necron, you've seen them all.
Yeah, you've seen all the Necrons. This one, look, this one's glowing green.
Yeah, he's the preserver of histories, artifacts, and events, and only wages war to expand its collection. So he's a real jerk.
Everyone's a jerk in this universe.
Yes, especially Magnus the Red. I don't know, maybe. Above Hamza and below, whoop, spoiler, at 539. 3 red blue for a 4/5 flying demon Primarch. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature token you control, and whenever he hits a player, you get a 3/3 red spawn. So a flying super goblin electromancer that fuels itself and can be completely off the chain, bonkers strong, but probably wants you to untap with him.
Something I like about this card is that you don't have to really build around it too much. Like, play Young Pyromancer. Oh, man, I have to play
What a chore.
Oh, my God, I have to play Shark Typhoon and
Talran,
Metallurgic Summoning. I have to play these cards I was going to play anyway in my deck. Oh.
Yeah, this got big Vadric feels. Vadric is really, really strong, and this feels like slightly worse, but if you untap with it, you're probably going to win. Like, for real.
Oh, this card does a lot. I mean, reducing your spells by 3, 4, 5, and sometimes you can just literally go higher. This thing is going to pop off with things like X spells, especially X spells that make creatures, I think of like, there's one that you pay X. It's the Tempted, the Red Tempt.
Tempt with Vengeance. I mean, there's like Release the Gremlins and like Stolen by the Fae and all this stuff.
You can just make so many 1/1s like that.
Yeah, this guy's going to be really good. Seems pretty fun, but I would imagine a little bit miserable when you let them untap with it and lose.
It'll pop off. Like you're not going to see anything reduce this much. This card really, it's going to reduce beyond like reasonable limits. Like you're sometimes just going to reduce 20, 30, maybe even 40 because if you have a reduction of like 40 because you've popped off, you can play another one of those X spells to make X1/1s. Now you're reducing by 80.
Yeah, now it's like, how are you not winning?
There's just real things that this deck can do. Then you Common Storm and win.
Yeah, exactly. This is a giant demon prince with psychic powers, obviously.
Everyone has
Holds a grudge
powers
against the Space Marines, and I'm not going to look into this at all and just assume that the Space Wolves are wolves with space helmets.
Yes. Yes.
But he hates those Space Wolves.
He hates Space Wolves.
Or maybe just like Wolf from Star Fox.
Yeah. He is a Space Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is Illuminatorceras. We're getting up to the top, folks. This is 538 above Magnus the Red and below Nine Fingers Keen. 2 and a black for a 3/3. Tap, sacrifice another creature. Add an amount of black mana equal to the sacrifice creature's mana value.
So it's kind of let you store mana so you can like play a 5-drop and then, next turn use that 5 mana into something else. It just doesn't seem that strong to me because it goes by mana value. You can't really cheat.
No Phyrexian Dreadnought cheating. You can cheat with like a Gurmag Angler, but the card's bad. So you're really kind of like paying a card to get a ritual.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, like, you can't get that much out of this card. The mana you're getting, this is a tap ability, and it's not that much mana. Even if you play, like, if you reanimate, like, a 10-drop, sure, you go up a ton of mana that one turn. How are you going to pay that off? I'm not sure where you're supposed to go with this.
Probably Thornbite Staff helps you go infinite really easily with this, right? Because your creatures that you sacrifice, untap it, and you just keep sacrificing creatures, and you've got mana to play more creatures.
Maybe.
That's something there. I mean, this is a card. This is a good card. It's not bad. It's just a little confusing.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you can do with this, because this one, I don't know what you can do with it.
There's some things. This is the guy who caused the biotransference of the Necrontyr, and he condemned the entire civilization to an eternal cybernetic undeath, which just sounds like my personal dream. And he's super smart.
I don't know. Cybernetic undeath?
I will take cybernetic undeath all day.
Even if you don't have a soul? No, there is. So in a world
where there is souls, I don't have one.
So there's a world where we know souls exist. Do you give up your soul to be?
It's tough.
A robot.
It's tough. Do you want to live forever or be undead forever? And at some point, what's the difference?
There's probably a difference.
I couldn't tell him. I mean, living forever with the soul has more insurance because my body could get destroyed. Everybody only lives 10,000 years and then they die.
Exactly 10,000 years. Yeah, that's the lifespan of somebody on this. Anything else you want to say about this card?
Yeah, I want to go to Martius Calgar, who's ranked 450 above Varel and below Ishin. 2 white, blue, black for a 3/5 double strike. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card, and you can pay 6 to make 2 2/2 white Astarte creature tokens with vigilance.
All right, this card is good.
It slaps.
It's very, very good. Not only is it going to be extremely powerful, drawing when you make tokens, just make a token, draw a card, make a token, draw a card, keep doing one individual token over and over again. It's also just going to infinite combo so easily by just increasing the number of token makes, Phyrexian, or
Ashnod's Altar's best friends.
Best friends with this deck. Every single time, there's a million different cards that just go infinite.
Ashnod's Altar in this, plus like Death Mantle or Anointed Procession, and there's like 80 other things that just go infinite.
Yeah, there's so many. There's Training Grounds.
There's another one.
There's just a ton of infinites with this card.
And when you do it, you draw your whole deck.
Whenever you go infinite, you draw your whole deck, meaning that you're just going to win somehow.
So you got to just kill this thing. It's going to be super strong and not as fun as it could be because you're going to just have to kill it every time you see it.
Yeah, and if they don't have a counterspell, you do just win because what'll happen is you'll draw your whole deck and then you'll sacrifice for mana, then you'll play your Phyrexian Altar, and now you can
give it a colored mana, cast your whole deck.
No, you don't need infinite colored mana. You go blue, fastest Oracle, you win.
That's creative.
You'll win every single time. But I'm just saying, if no one has interaction, when you do this combo, you will always just win.
That is true. So let's go into the art, which I thought was exceptionally good.
Yeah.
I like that he's got the big, bulky suit. This is a cool Space Marine.
I don't think I can put it better than How could I ever describe it better than that? Give me some lore.
Oh, sorry. This is the first Space Marine to become Prismari's Space Marine, from Strixhaven. Regarded as the epitome of mankind's will to triumph and endure. So this seems like a nice dude.
This is the Prismaris. It's different.
But he probably, if I read more of the lore, he probably kicks puppies or something.
I mean, wait, he does something good? No, he doesn't.
It looks like he's the coolest dude ever.
I refuse to believe it. No character is good in this lore.
So he kicks puppies in his spare time.
Yes, he kicks definitely 100% canonically kicks puppies. Up next, we have the Swarmlord, above Shovel, below Hannah's Ship's Navigator at 362. 3 green, blue, red for a 5/5. The Swarmlord enters the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Whenever a creature you control with a counter on it dies, draw a card. This is a solid commander. It's going to be a +1/+1 counters deck, but every time any of your counters creatures die, you just draw cards, you get refuel. This is going to have good board wipe insurance right on it. It's going to say... But he's going to say, kill me, before anyone casts a board wipe.
Biggest lightning rod ever. And it will basically just be a 7/7 the first time you cast it, because it's your commander, so you cast it once the first time, and you get a 7/7.
This is going to be a deck that just wants to play sack outlets. Like, not many... Your counters deck aren't looking to play sack outlets. It's not really something that goes...
Oh, yeah, we could play Goblin Bombardment. I was trying to think of what good sack outlets we got, but that's at least one.
I mean, there's always the altars, too.
The altars, of course.
The altars, they're always good no matter what. So
I'm trying to play X-Spells anyway, so Ashnod's Altar, get in there.
That is true. I mean, yeah, the Swarmlord is just... a super solid card that gives us card draw in the command zone. That's something that counters decks kind of lack.
I don't know if they've ever done that.
No, yeah, it is completely different. The art's super solid. This thing is spooky.
Why don't you give us this lore?
This is the most powerful synapse creature ever created by the hive mind.
What is that?
It's a collective consciousness of tyrannid species.
I haven't heard of that species before. Are they related to the Tyranids?
They are related to Tyranids, and they are exactly like slivers. I know what you're thinking.
It sounds very sliver-esque.
The slivers and Tyranids hang out together.
I don't know how old Warhammer is, so I don't know which one was around first.
I actually have no clue. Yeah, let us know in the comments, because that's a tough one. I think Warhammer is a pretty old game, but Magic is also a 30-year-old game at this point.
Warhammer is actually 10,000 years old.
It is. In the years of 30K.
Yeah, let's go to Emotech, the Stormlord. We're almost to the top. We're the tippy top. We got 336 for this rank, above Kyrie and below Winota. 2 black for a 3/3. Whenever one or more artifact cards leave your graveyard, create 2 2/2 black Necron artifact creature tokens. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target artifact creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains menace until end of turn. So right away you get +2/+2 menace on something. You can chip through some damage, but oh my god, it's so easy to make an artifact leave your graveyard with all these relics and graveyard hates and returning things and mirrored retriever. Just like, you get 2 tokens every time. It doesn't say once per turn.
Yeah, you're going to make a lot of tokens with this card super easily. It's going to be super fun. You're going to go wide. It's so, like you said, it is not a chore to make an artifact leave your graveyard. It is easy.
So every one of these commanders is either clunky creature that has to attack and deal combat damage somehow, or combos with Ashnod's Altar, because now I'm thinking of Nim Death Mantle with whatever the thing you sacrifice. When it leaves the graveyard, you just get 2 more things.
Yeah, wow. Well, another combo piece. I mean, these decks are... This is one of the strongest commanders we have. Like you said, it's got combos all over the place, and if you just build this as a fair deck, you're going to go off...
pumping out so many dudes.
Like, I just think of Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Scrap Heap Scrounger and a sack outlet.
You don't... But it's just like... All right, I'm going to sack Scrap Heap Scrounger, exile an artifact creature from my graveyard.
Trigger.
Get 2 2/2s, return it. Oh, it left the graveyard. So you get 8.
4?
I was thinking 8 power.
8 power, 4 creatures just from Scrapheap Scrounger.
What is that?
You can just keep doing it too. It's only two. It only costs you 2 mana.
What kind of silly nonsense is going on here?
This card's gonna beat the crap out of you, and I don't even think it's that unfun to play again. I think it's just gonna be brutal.
It's just gonna be.
Put up your dukes.
It's also mono black, so it does have the weakness of you do have to be mono black artifacts. Again, it does get a lot of strength because of the actual deck it came in. Has a lot of good cards for the deck. But if this just came out in like a set boost, you'd be like, this card's tough to build. I mean, strong, but tough to build.
Yeah, bring out your Disciple of the Vaults and your Marionette Masters. This is a sweet card. He's renowned for his strategic genius and pride, and has led countless successful campaigns over the 10,000 years he's been alive. Well, he's a Necron, so they're around for like 60 million, right? At least.
But I thought they were in a slumber for those 60 million years.
But they're back. Maybe.
I don't know. It's tough for me to keep track of this.
How lame would the story be if it was like, all right, we got these 3 factions, and here's another faction, but they're all asleep.
They've just been sleeping this whole time.
Wouldn't you like to play with these? You can't. They're asleep.
Yeah, that's the sleeping ones. When you play them, they sleep.
Yeah, so that was the 3rd highest. Who's the 2nd highest?
It's actually Bellacor, the Dark Master, above Sir Gwyn and below Razakath at 137 overall. 3 blue, black, red for a 6/5 demon. It's got flying. When it enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Now, this is a demon commander. It's not the most powerful because it's big and it's clunky, but that's demons, right? That's demons in a nutshell. 4 for power. It does stuff. It's decent. It's slow and it's very susceptible to removal, but at least when it comes out, it's going to draw you a card or 2 right away to get that back. Fun, easy time. I mean, you're just going to play big, dumb demons the whole game.
You can't get mad at this. It's just like clunky, cool dudes.
It turns your demons into removal, too. Even cool. Like, it comes down, draws you a card or 2. Now, I'll play Razakath. Deal 8, kill something. I'll play a Shadowborn Demon, which already kills something, and I'll kill something else.
Yeah, I like that it's good as your first demon or your 5th demon. It doesn't really matter. You get to pick and choose when you play it.
Yeah, exactly. I do like that about some of these cards where some commanders say play all your creatures first, then me, or play me and then all your creatures, and it's good. When it's both, it makes it a little stronger.
This is easily my favorite art from the set. There's like a whole war going on below him, and you can kind of see what's happening. Plus, the lore kind of ties in, which is also awesome. He's like the first demon prince ever raised from mortality. He's got infinite cunning, however that's possible, and absolute cruelty, who destroys all these touches. And I'm pretty sure he sort of like travels as like this smoky monster on the battlefield, where like you can kind of see it in the art where there's like a shadowy wispy thing from his sword, and he just kind of like flies around as like a cloud. It's like creepy. Just murders people.
Only a Sith deals in absolute cruelty.
But here we are. This is it. This is the #1 commander in the whole set. It's Abaddon the Despoiler, ranked 41 overall. That's real high. Above Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, and right below Turgrid. 2 blue, black, red for a 5/5 trample. During your turn, spells you cast from your hand with mana value X or less have Cascade, where X is the total amount of life your opponents have lost this turn. This is another like off the chain, untap with it and you're dead. Their opponents are dead type commander. Cascade on all your spells. Don't forget, I don't care if my 8-drop has Cascade. I care about I'm going to deal like 6 damage with like one of those pingers or something. And then all my 3-drops and 2-drops Cascade and I win the game.
Yeah, and it's so easy to steal that little bit of damage to get all them Cascade. And on top of that, some of the big turns, you just get to have your 8-drops having Cascade. You get to do it with your dig through times and stuff like that. This card just absolutely pops off. It turns all of your cards, as soon as you deal that damage, into 2-for-1s. Every single mana rock you play comes with something else, some small creature with it.
Feels kind of Chulane-esque. I get a lot of Chulane energy where like, it's hard to make this bad. If you untap with it, you're probably going to win.
Yeah, exactly. This card is very, very strong. One of the best, like literally the best commander in the whole set.
Yeah, you could build it really spiky too.
Yeah, it probably can combo off very easily, right?
Yeah, like you're casting Brainstorm and cantripping into like Wheel of Fate or something.
Yeah, because you can put a
cascading into it.
Yeah, exactly. Those zero drops that you can just cascade into are super strong in this deck.
Yeah, so this card slaps. It's super cool. There's like nothing wrong with it. It's super unique. We don't really see this on anything else except like Yidris. The lore is pretty sweet. He's like one of the strongest dudes in all of Warhammer, which is crazy because everyone in Warhammer is one of the strongest dudes in Warhammer. He can't be killed by anything in the purely physical world.
He's immortal? Wow.
No, he just can't be killed by anything, apparently.
That's immortal, right?
Yeah, I guess so. He led the Black Crusades against the Imperium. I heard a lot of crap about them. They sound really bad. This is the dude. This is like seems like one of the baddest dudes ever.
All of them are bad dudes. We've gone over this.
But this seems like, the Yawgmoth of Warhammer. Let me know if I'm close on that.
There was one guy who seemed like he was kind of nice.
But he kicks puppies.
But he kicks puppies, yeah. This is obviously the best commander. This thing is, I think it's the most powerful commander. Even like the other one we talked about was strong, but this is stronger, and it's in 3 colors, meaning that you can build a spiky deck with it. You can do a lot more with 3 colors when you're trying to be spiky.
Yeah, and if you want to do a lot more with this set, you can check out the review of the entire set we did, thinking of all of our thoughts on every commander relevant card that is not a commander. So go check it out.
Peace out, Tribe Scout.